Welcome to the third and final day of our challenge. So far, we've been going through what we usually look at: the past, the present, and today we're going into the future. So on day one, we looked at your past expenses. What have you done with your money before? Then yesterday, we looked at your income statement, your balance sheet, to get an idea of where are you right now. From there, you did some smart moves. You did some cuts, you improved your finances, and you put yourself in a position to win, to be in a better position going forward. As you might remember from our first video, we talked about how important this is, because 74% of everyone in the Western world, according to Forbes, is living paycheck to paycheck. And about 50% of people in the United States have only $1,000 to $5,000 worth of savings. And a third of everyone in the United States has less than $1,000 in total savings. That is ridiculous, and it makes life so hard. So many relationships break up over issues with money. So many businesses fail because of issues with money. But the work you've done for the last 2 days have now put you in a place of control. You're now in control of your finances and can move forward. And that's what we're doing today. Today, we're taking the step into the future. Today, we're going to look at the dream life you would like to live, and we're doing it by using a simple tool that we call the financial freedom figure. Now, what is the financial freedom figure? Well, basically, it's based around the idea that if you invest and get a certain amount of return, if you invest enough, that return could be enough to cover your salary, meaning you don't have to go to work anymore. You'd have income coming in whether you work or not, meaning you have what we call financial freedom. You would finally be free. That's what today's lesson is about. We're going to look at what does it take for you to become financially free. What do you need to do in order to live your dream life for the rest of your life? And that is very, very exciting. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how you can use the tool to calculate your financial freedom figure. But right now, I want to show you here on my whiteboard exactly what this would mean to you and how it will affect your life. So stick with me now, and I'm going to draw, as well as I can, draw a little bit of an overview of what the financial freedom is and what it will do for you. So we start here. So this is now you right here in the middle. Now, you have a dream future. So I'll just make a little house here that represents your dream. See, as you can see, I'm a fantastic artist. But here is your dream, okay? This is where you want to go. Now, to get there, the question is, how do we take you from where you are today to this dream life? What will it take? Usually, there are multiple parts of your life that will be affected and that require to be a part of this. But finances is a big part of it, because finances will allow you to quit your job. If you have issues with health, well, not having to go to a job 8 hours a day might allow you to put more time into your health. If you have issues with relationships, well, again, if you don't put 8 hours into your job, maybe you can spend more time with your friend, your family, and other relationships that you might have or are pursuing. So, and if it's your spiritual development, the same thing. Instead of going to work, maybe take a walk down the beach, meditate in front of the ocean, have that connection. So whatever it is that your issue is, if we can solve the financial side, it will allow you a better ability to handle the others. If you feel that finances is your biggest issue, well, great. That's what we're working on, right? That's what we've been doing for 2 days. But if you feel that it's your mission, that you're not allowed to work in your mission and where you can make the biggest impact on the world, again, if you can get out of the mundane job and get into your mission, again, we're changing things, we're making things better. Well, all you might want is to have less stress. And imagine this: what if a global pandemic hits? Maybe you recognize that, right? And the job market changes. If you're stressed about money now, well, what happens if your job disappears? How stressful might that be? Well, with 74% of people living paycheck to paycheck, that's a lot of people that during the COVID crisis have been put into horrible issues and had very hard struggles just to survive. Well, that's where having a passive income that comes in whether you work or not allows you to be safe whatever happens. And I'm going to show you down in the third video of today's lesson how you can use how these investments work and how you can create passive income. So don't worry, I'm going to show you that in the third video. And in the fourth and final video of this lesson, I'll have a surprise for you to help you start this process with a jump start. All right, so it's got a big surprise. So the question now, let's continue. So the question is, how do you get from where you are now to your dream life? Well, that's where the financial freedom figure comes in. So I'm going to write this here. Financial freedom figure. All right, so let's do the calculation here. The financial freedom figure, how this works, it's very simple. I'm going to show you the three parts. There are only three parts to this whole calculation, and then I'm going to show you how this impacts into your life. All right, so stick with me. So I'll call your F, meaning your financial freedom figure, equals your total expenses per month times 12, meaning what? So if you have your monthly expenses, take them times 12, what do you have? Your annual expenses, right? Your annual expenses divided by your expected return. Okay, so let's go through this together. Your financial freedom figure equals your expenses, your annual expenses divided by your expected return. Let's break it into its parts, because if you're not a mathematician, this might seem really, really weird, okay? So let's go through it together. Well, all right, if you're going to be able to quit your job, if you're going to be free, what do you need? What is key to take that step? Well, that you don't need the salary anymore, right? That you have passive income that is big enough to cover all your expenses, right? So that's this first part. That's what this is. This is what needs to be covered in order to live that life, right? So for you to transition, you need to go through here, cover this, and get to your dream life, okay? Now, if I, for example, let's do a little calculation here. Say I have costs of 2,500 euros a month, okay? So 2,500 times 12 is how much? Might use a calculator if you need it. Otherwise, it's 30,000, okay? So that would be, if I have 2,500 euros of expenses every month times 12, that is 30,000 per year, right? So my expenses equals this, okay? Now, if I'm going to have that, the question is, the financial freedom figure is the answer to how much do I need to invest in order to get this? Does that make sense? See, now we're getting somewhere, I think. Now I think we're getting somewhere. How much do I need to invest to cover my 30,000, to cover my expenses and live my dream life? Well, that's where the expected return comes in. Now, if you look at an average in different assets, for example, the stock market, do you know what the average stock market return is? Well, in the United States and most of the Western world, it's been between 8 and 12% per annum, so around 10%. Now, that's a type of asset you can invest in. But is that cash flow or is that capital increase? Well, a part of it is dividends, right? It gets paid out. But most of it, if you're going to live off of it, means you have to sell some of your shares, right? Because they're going up in value. That's where you make the return. Another type of asset is property. And I don't invest in any property where I'm not getting at least from cash flow 10% return. I also have the increase in value, but I make sure I get that. But we're just going to make things simple now and use a 10% return, okay? So if I put here, my expected return is 10%. I'm going to go back here and do my calculation. So if I have 30,000 per year of expenses divided by my expected return of 10%, how much is my financial freedom figure? Well, if I divide something by 10%, if you hit your calculator, that's like dividing by 0.1, or it becomes like multiplying by 10. So it becomes 300,000. So if I invested 300,000, all right, let's think of this together. Say I take, this is me now. I take 300,000 and I invest into a property. Okay? I do a property investment. See my gorgeous houses, right? Now, if I invest 300,000 and I'm getting a 10% return, how much am I making every year? Well, if I have 300,000 invested, I'm making 10%, that would be 30,000. So that would cover my expenses. And what does that mean? If I can cover my expenses, means I can live my dream life. I can leave my job and start living. Now, of course, you don't have to just do base expenses. You can increase it. So there are different ways of doing this to calculate. You could do your initial financial freedom figure. You could use your dream life figure and go bigger. A lot of our students will put a first goal to become financially free, a second goal to live with a bit of luxury, have that financial, just comfort, right? And then a third level, which is that dream life. And then what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll invest in property. We teach how to invest in property. That's why we're Momentum Property Education, right? And we'll teach how they then can do this. And it gets very, very exciting because it builds them towards their future. And that's something I'm going to show you at the end of this. I got a really exciting surprise for you, show you how you can jumpstart that career. But you kind of see what I'm doing here, right? If you have a certain amount of money you need to make, you can invest it at a certain return, it means you can live that dream life. Now the question is, can you affect your financial freedom figure? Can you affect that? Yeah, you can, right? There are two ways. How do I get this to change? Well, either by changing my expenses, right? So if my expenses go up, what happens to my financial freedom figure? It also goes up. What happens if my expenses go down? Well, so does my financial freedom figure. You see why Gisela did that video in day one, where she showed you how to think around cutting costs. This is one of the big reasons. First is to get control over your finances, but then any cost you can do that doesn't negatively impact your life but still saves you money means your financial freedom figure goes down. And that is exciting. If you save, say, 1,000 euros, well, that's maybe a big, say 100 euros a month on cutting an expense, that would be 1,200 euros per year. That's 12,000 euros less you need to invest. So if you can save 100 euros a month by cutting costs, your financial freedom figure just went down by 12,000. Now, is there any other way to affect it? So either you make this go up or this go down. Is there any other way? Yes, by changing your expected return. If you can increase your return, or if the return goes down, that will obviously change your financial freedom figure. The higher your return, the lower the financial freedom figure. For example, if we go back to my calculation, if I change this to 20%, well, what happens? This goes down to 150,000. And this is something a lot of our property students work with, is they're looking at ways, how can they create a higher return over time? How can they increase this number so that their financial freedom figure comes down? It gets very, very exciting to work with. So that's something I'm looking forward to going in a little deeper in you. In video 3, I'm going to show you how we can affect this in deals. But now, what I want you to start thinking about is making that difference in your financial freedom figure. Start changing your life that way. Because when you do this, truly means you can be free. Now, the question is, what is your financial freedom figure? So if you want, stop the video now and try to calculate it. In the next video, I'm going to show you a software tool that we have created that you can download, and I have a video that I've recorded where I show you how that tool works so that you can calculate your financial freedom figure like this. So if you don't want to do it by hand like I just did, that's okay. Use the spreadsheet, the software we've created for you, and it will show you how in the next video. So I'll see you there. And then I got video 3 for you where I'm going to show you how this works in practice, how you do these deals in practice, and how you reach that dream life. And then we're going to end up with a surprise about how you can jumpstart your future. Sound good? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.